Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be doing a little bit of shorter-term technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets because, guys, as you will probably know, yesterday Bitcoin went through a flash crash. Anyway, guys, in yesterday's video, Bitcoin, as you will probably know by now, flash crashed about $700 in the span of like 3 minutes. Everyone was all excited that Bitcoin was going to the moon. Bitcoin had broken $10,000. Bitcoin was going to rally. Bitcoin was going into a bull market. We're all going to buy Lamborghinis and pop champagne corks and, you know, all those things on beaches in Hawaii. I don't know. Anyway, everyone was very excited about Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden, Bitcoin decided, lol, nope, I'm going back to where we were a couple days ago, and Bart Simpson down to the downside. I know we all have a lot of questions here, and I'm going to strive to answer all of them in today's video if I possibly can. Anyway, guys, if you do enjoy today's video, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And before we dive on into it, I do want to mention one thing, and that would be the first cohort. Guys, I briefly mentioned the first cohort in yesterday's video, and I am not kidding you. I spent like an hour this morning answering emails about it because you guys are really interested. So let me go over some of those questions. First and foremost, what is the first cohort? Answer: it is our private Discord server where you get access to the Coffee and Crypto morning live streams. This morning's live stream will be streamed immediately after this video is done recording. Number two, if you're in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, yes, you do get the first month of the first cohort free. Just shoot us an email at cryptojebb@gmail.com, and we will get back to you on that as quickly as possible. Anyway, guys, we will discuss that more at the end of the video. If you're interested in joining us for our morning live streams, you can hit the link in the description down below to join us. But without much further ado, guys, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. You know, a lot of people were wondering why we decided to go ahead and upload yesterday's video, even though the whole flash crash happened and kind of invalidated a little bit of what we were talking about. The reason that we decided to go ahead and do that is because my editor is on vacation in Colorado, and I'm trying not to give her too much work. So that would be why. But guys, in all seriousness, not that that's not actually serious, but in all seriousness, one of the main reasons I left yesterday's video up is not to say I called it. It's not to say any of that. By the way, guys, when I was like patting myself on the back in the beginning of yesterday's video, that was a joke. Everybody said that Bitcoin was probably going to break to the upside. I'm not claiming to have called anything. If I said that in yesterday's video, I was probably either joking or I misspoke. I didn't call anything, okay? I'm just hands up. I get it. The main reason we decided to go ahead and post that video is because most of the analysis in that video is still going to be useful to you guys, even if you've already seen what the market is going to do, because you can use how I've come to certain conclusions to help you in coming to your own conclusions. So guys, I hope you understand that there's lessons to be learned in everything. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump onto the chart. I think we can all agree that pretty much everyone and their mother got very excited about Bitcoin breaking that downtrending level of resistance in yesterday's video. But something that a lot of people didn't take into consideration is this. We mentioned in yesterday's video about the strength of the bulls and the bears. I mentioned it casually before the crash happened about how we have a 3-year-long downtrend and Bitcoin broke it, but we only broke it for about 7%. Now pause. Many of you guys who are in CT2A or have been doing technical analysis for a long time will know that when you break a massive trend line, one that's been in effect for over a year, you expect to have a massive breakout proportional to the strength of that downtrending level of resistance in this case, or flat level of support like I'll show you. Example, what happened when Bitcoin fell below $6,000? Did Bitcoin fall 7%? No, Bitcoin did not fall 7%. In fact, over the course of 2 days, Bitcoin would fall 11%, maintaining that momentum until it fell 40% at one point and up to 50% only a month later. What's my point on this? Jeb, we're looking at a 12-hour long breakout versus a 30-day long breakout. Duh, it's going to be bigger. It lasted longer. The fact of the matter is this. When you're looking at a breakout of a long-term downtrending level of resistance or a long-term trend line of any kind, support or resistance, when you break out of it, the first couple of days, you really got to watch yourself because it's very easy for the bears to crash Bitcoin back below that level of previous resistance or back up above that previous level of support if the bulls do it. But the thing you also want to pay attention to is the momentum. Where was the momentum after we had that breakout yesterday? If you'll notice, we're on the 4-hourly chart back here when Bitcoin fell below $6,000. Yes, we did flatten out, but what did Bitcoin do first? it kind of rounded out towards that level of support around $5,500. Bitcoin really had a lot of momentum showing it was going to go to the downside. Furthermore, the volume didn't drop off. The volume was higher than it was before, as you can see by the 20 moving average that runs through the volume right here. And also, a lot of people, rightfully so, did not enter short positions right here. They entered short positions when we saw the next leg downwards to confirm the bearish breakout. Guys, you don't confirm a bearish breakout right when you fall below it. That looks like a weird, like, frog face. Like, what in the world? Anyway, you don't actually confirm a breakout of a level of support or resistance the second you break it. That's not the confirmation. That's just a movement. That could very easily come right back to where it started. I'll tell you what happened. Instead of Bitcoin breaking to the upside and having a rounded top like this in the same manner but in the inverse that we saw when we broke below $6,000, Bitcoin instead broke up and then pulled back like this. That may be familiar to some of you guys who have been in the market for a little while, because what did we see when Bitcoin rallied 40% in the span of 24 hours or so? Bitcoin broke out and then had this kind of movement. Not that kind of movement, that kind of movement. The 12 hours after a breakout are very telling, but the 12 hours after a breakout of a level of resistance of this magnitude don't confirm anything. I'll show you how you confirm it. And this is contrary to what you've been taught, guys. When you hear about a breakout, you say, look for volume on confirmation. And normally that is true. But on something this major, on a market reversal this significant, on a breakout this significant, it's really nice to have another level of confirmation. Here's what I would have liked to see on Bitcoin. I would have liked to see, okay, Bitcoin broke out 7%. It had this little bit of kind of bearish tapering off on moving into the bull flag, but that's not the end of the world. What is Bitcoin's next major move? What happens when Bitcoin decides, oh, I want to move 3%? Does it move 3% to the upside or 3% to the downside? What I was doing, and guys, listen, the reason that I was cautioning you in yesterday's video is because Bitcoin had just broken out. We were 12 hours broken out above a 3-year-long downtrend of resistance. That doesn't mean jack. It's not going to show up on the weekly chart. It's barely going to show up on the daily chart. I wanted to see if Bitcoin could stay up there for a few days or a week. I wanted to see what the second, third, fourth, and fifth move were for Bitcoin, not just the first. Because the first doesn't necessarily mean anything when you have a level of resistance this major and this strong, especially in this market climate, by the way. So what I would have liked to seen is Bitcoin break out and rally just ever so slightly above this. If we'd have seen a movement like that instead, then yeah, I'd be very bullish on Bitcoin, because we're setting higher highs and higher lows above the downtrending level of resistance, confirming and locking in the bullish rally up here. Instead, we all know what happened. Bitcoin decided to jump off a metaphorical cliff and fall back to right where it started, putting into play this Bart Simpson pattern. And yeah, that's called a Bart Simpson pattern, because it looks like Bart Simpson. So there you go. So, okay, we know for next time, if Bitcoin is breaking a massive level of resistance in relation to the size of the breakout, wait for 2 or 3 confirmations, not just one. I mean, think about this. Whenever you send Bitcoin, how many confirmations does it take? It takes 6 confirmations. You don't say that Bitcoin is confirmed and sent and delivered and everything on one confirmation, because that one confirmation could be easily invalidated. However, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 confirmations, then yeah, you can be pretty confident that no one is going to come back and have like a little miniature fork of the chain and then unconfirm your transaction, because it's buried 6 transactions deep. It's very unlikely anyone's going to be able to do that in cryptography, and it's very unlikely that that's going to happen in technical analysis. So look for more than one confirmation. That is your lesson of the day. So what's going to happen from here? Is Bitcoin going to break out to the moon, or is Bitcoin going to fall straight down to HE double hockey sticks, as Angel from Maximum Ride would say? No one's going to get that reference. Well, I'll tell you what I think. I am personally still bullish on Bitcoin, and I'll explain exactly why. Guys, we talked about this in Coffee and Crypto yesterday. Make sure you join us with the First Cohort link in the description down below. But I talked about it in the First Cohort live stream, because we were streaming right as this breakout was happening, because I started streaming almost immediately after finishing recording yesterday's video. I talked to them about this exact question, because many of them have the same question. Where does Bitcoin go from here? Is this the end of the uptrend? Well, let me ask you guys this. Let's say I just did this on the chart, and I just kind of like, blacked out that entire rally, and it just never happened. Let's say I did that. Well, think about it this way. In this case, would you be bullish or bearish on Bitcoin? it's kind of an unfair question because there's so many people watching this video with so many different positions, but the answer really is that most of you would agree with is that your position doesn't change because it's only 12 hours of price movement. If it hadn't have happened in the first place, it wouldn't have changed anything in the first place. Has anything changed on the technicals? Has anything changed on the fundamentals? Ask yourself the question. We went over like 15 different bullish technical indicators in yesterday's video and in the videos before that. Have any of those changed? The answer is a resounding no, because they all show up on the daily chart, and something that happened in the span of like 18 hours at most has literally no effect on them. MACD is still bullish. RSI is still bullish. We're still having a golden cross between the 50 and the 20 exponential and simple moving averages out on the weekly chart. Bollinger Bands are still giving us room. The VPVR resistance is still everything is still supporting the idea of a bullish Bitcoin. The fundamentals still have some work to do. As you guys know, Bitcoin has lost some of its search interest, but as you will know, ever since the end of last year, it has still been trending to the upside. There is something to be said for a need to increase the fundamentals on Bitcoin at least a little bit, mainly concerning the interest and adoption in the space, the short-term adoption in the space. But in general, all of the bullish factors that we discussed in the last weeks of video have still been in effect. However, also, that 9 flash on the weekly chart TD sequential has not been reset by all of this, so keep that in mind. I want to also clarify something. A lot of people were saying, Jeb, you called it. You said the weekly 9 flash on the TD sequential was going to crash Bitcoin. I appreciate you saying I called it. No, I didn't, because I'm not talking about this when I say the 9 flash is going to have a correction. I specifically explained this. Like I said, I appreciate the credit, but credit where credit's due. I didn't call anything on that. The 9 flash on the TD sequential is still active. The 9 flash needs a couple weeks of bearishness for it to reset. Typically, how you reset the TD sequential is in one of two ways. Either you have red, green, red, and that resets it, or you just have 2 candlesticks of red and it will reset the TD sequential just like that. Bitcoin still needs 2 weeks of red candlesticks in a row. They don't have to be big weeks, but they need to be there to reset that indicator. So the 2 biggest questions on everyone's mind, has anything changed in the last 72 hours, and is Bitcoin bullish or bearish? 1, no, pretty much nothing at all has changed. Number 2, yes, Bitcoin is still bullish because it was bullish 72 hours ago and nothing has changed. There are bearish technicals. There are reasons to be concerned about Bitcoin. There are things such as the news virus going on that we need to be aware of. There are things such as a global economy that is in jeopardy right now. There is low search interest on Bitcoin right now. There are reasons to believe that Bitcoin might have a hard time getting above and staying above our downtrend of resistance as we saw yesterday. But the fact of the matter stands that Bitcoin is still, technically speaking, bullish. We'll see how that plays out. So guys, I hope that answered all of your questions. If you have any more, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, or even better yet, consider joining the first cohort and you can ask me live on stream. Guys, the first cohort has been growing a lot because I mentioned it in yesterday's video, and I kid you not, I sat down for an hour answering emails about it because so many of you guys had questions about it. I love answering emails. It's really awesome that I would get so many requests about something, that so many people are interested in something that we're building. So guys, if you have any questions about the first cohort, continue sending them. I'll run through some of the basics. The first cohort is our private community where you'll get access to the Coffee and Crypto morning live streams. Speaking of which, I need to go get more coffee before the stream starts, where we do analysis on Bitcoin, altcoins, we talk about news, fundamentals, and I also answer questions of our members in the live chat. So if you guys want to get access to those morning streams and get access to that live content while also being able to ask me questions in real time, I encourage you to join us with the link in the description down below. Like I said, if you are in CT2A, and many of you guys are, when you join the first cohort, you essentially get the first month free. What I'll need you to do is the following. I'll need you to email me and say, hey, Jeb, I'm in CT2A. I just joined the first cohort. You said there's a rebate for the first month. Can you go ahead and send me that on Bitcoin or in my credit card, depending on which one you want? When you're in CT2A and you join the first cohort, I will return to you the $25, essentially making the first month free. And like I said, we can either do that through Bitcoin or I can go ahead and refund it directly to your card. I know you're asking, why don't you just make the first month free, Jeff? It's so that we can capture subscription payments so that we don't have to worry about it in the future. That's literally it. So there you go. Anyway, guys, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'll try and get back to as many of them as possible, as quickly as possible. We're getting a little overwhelmed, but that's why we're building out a team to help with everything. Guys, this is going to be a great year. Like I've said in recent videos, I know it's been a difficult year. I know things have been challenging. I know that a lot of people are hurting right now, not just because of the news, but also because of the other news going on. I don't touch politics with a 10-foot pole in these videos, at least not like normal politics. We talk about financial politics. But I do just want to say my hearts go out to everyone who's hurting right now, and I understand that there's, you know, this is all I'll say. There's a pretty good reason to be hurting. That's all I'll say. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, my point is, I know this has been a difficult year. I know crazy things are happening. I just saw an article about forest fires going through the forest around Chernobyl. So there's radioactive forest fires. Like, can this year, like, the person commented, I don't think I have radioactive forest fires on my bingo card for 2020. Because, like, you know, it just seems like the apocalypse is happening this year. We're going to get through this. We've been through worse. We will be through worse. Believe me, we're going to be all right. I believe in you guys. I believe in humanity. I've seen enough good. I've seen enough bad to come to the conclusion that there are enough good people that normally they overcome evil, even if it takes a little while. Guys, I do hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, as always, consider hitting that like and subscribe button down below. It really helps out the channel when you do that. I'm so blessed for all of the growth that we've had lately. Welcome to all the new faces. Thank you so much for giving this channel a shot. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's video. Before I go, though, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video.